Crusader Kings 3 court events in Dev Diary 75 are explained further. First, we'll have where they happen, why they are integrated there, also because of the size that is possible, that is just so much greater, and how the shots are developed, then a new sidebar, then scripts if you're interested in that, and just a couple more court events. So let's look through this together. The court event is a new form of event, not a personal event, it's just a new form of event. As you can see here we have Scrounge Alive. That is a new court event. It's seen exclusively within the court view, it's replacing standard character type events. One of the major design limitations with character type events is that they are small and you have a lot more space and a lot more room in court type events. So the court type events, as you can see here, they have a little more room for the text. They are bigger. There's some people on the side that are mentioned here, just for the overview, just for the short link, and you have them here in the court where you can see them, how they interact in person. Like here we have some kind of, maybe that's a dwarven pope or something like that, and the king of Denmark. The characteristics of court events. So, similar to random yearlies, court events reflect the life of the court just existing, with all the petty drama and courtly intrigue you'd expect from a medieval monarch's household. They primarily involve characters consistently within your court rather than far-flung vessels or guests, and often tie into court grandeur and your different levels of amenities. Now let's look into one of the details here. Labyrinthine halls, that's a court event. You have two people here. My stroll takes me through a disused wing of the palace. It's in the court, it's in the palace. Touring some capacious if dusty quarters that my overworked staff seldom visit. When I hear a phlegmy sobbing coming from a by passage. Investigating, I find my guest Aglan collapsed in despair. He surges up the second he sees me, grabbing me by my shoulders and starts babbling like a madman. Magyalpo, I've been lost in these passages for 3 days. I can't find the way out. Just endless loops of connecting corridors and mouldering chambers with nary a servant in sight. And we can show him the way out. How foolish can you be? Whistles, what a honeycomb of halls I keep. Other than a tone size and occasional number of options, the biggest difference that players will notice are the usage of different camera shots instead of backgrounds and portraits. So you have these short links with the small portraits here. You have the camera shots that are of course very, very cool, because you can see the whole attire and you can see their looks and everything like that. And then you have a big part here for the text, and it's just very full-fledged. It feels great to have such a court. And what we're going to do now is we're going to go through all the events we had in here, just to give us an example. Now there's this sidebar too. That will be on the right side, the court DLC sidebar. As you can see, that's the new sidebar. Here is the throne room symbol. So that's probably what will be the court events. And then we have even more events. Before we start with all the events, this is of course the script, so if you're a modder, get into that. We'll pass on that because there will probably be an in-depth modding Dev Diary, and then we'll look into that further. This should be a solid uninterrupted example, but just in case, there's a few preemptive clarifications for that. Every court type event must have a button character, even if that character is just your character, so it must always be set up. Group perimeter defines which spot in the scene that character stands in, so you can also define the location. Groups themselves are scriptable with a bit of work elsewhere, so you can arrange characters inside the court however you like. The groups shown in the example actually contain multiple different preset positions within the court scene, one of which is selected randomly for each event when it tries to fire. And for animations, we can access all the standard ones, plus a slew of new animations created specifically for the court scene. And now let's look into the court events. There's some more court events, but we already had these at the top, and we'll look to these as well. So we have Scoundrel Life. Beowulf North has become a permanent fixture of my court, and an expensive one, actually an expansive one too. He is there for every banquet, wolfing down everything in sight while complaining about how empty his own pantry is. You serve the best drinks, my lord, he says after downing another tankard of my finest invigorating herbal infusions. You're the most ambitious, the most implacable, the best looking lord, he declares, his hand extended for another loan he will never repay. His annoying waste of money, but his exaggerated antics are quite entertaining. So a problem and an entertainment. Then whom do we have here? Let me see. The value of letters. I can feel the judging stares of all my courtiers on me while I slowly, carefully sign my name on a new decree with a trembling pen and uncertain hand. Of course, signing is a strong word. I'm merely retracing letters carved in a wooden tablet and barely succeeding at it. Today, even my Archbishop Wilfrid is looking at me with what I guess is a mix of pity and disgust. Before I can reprimand him for disrespecting me, he interjects with a hopeful tone, "My lord, perhaps it's time for you to learn to read and write properly." Teach me right now. I know how to write, thank you very much. I keep pretending I don't notice them. What can we do up here? All things considered, I find him quite funny, or get this leech out of my sight. So, and let's see. So there's more events here. Saucy readings. Oh, saucy readings, and there's a member of the church here. Lately, I can't help but notice the gaggles of giggling maidens and usually austere warriors gathering in dark alcoves to listen enraptured to a book. Today I finally cornered Bardus with a book in his hands, despite its cover suggesting a pious book of prayers. It is a licentious novel written centuries ago by our pagan forefathers. There's a beautiful maiden, pirates, temptations, and lustful pages upon pages filled with unholy desires. I'm silent while I ponder the probable reaction of Patriarch Procopius, and Bardus stares at me in apprehension. So, my poor eyes, purify them with fire so you can burn them. What culture comes in any form? Let them read. Oh, juicy! Why should we limit ourselves to reading, Bardus? Oh god. Make it disappear and I'll pretend I saw nothing. So there's multiple options here. When more characters are involved, there are more options. Then what do we have here? Possession Court. Riccilo's condition is equally mysterious and scary. According to Archbishop O'Donnell, a dark being inhabits her body and occasionally manifests itself with uncontrollable power. However, the frequency and intensity of these episodes is causing increasing alarm among my devoted courtiers. They fear that the evil presence will take over and spread chaos and death among us. Azor reassures me that Riccolo has never been dangerous per se, but my courtiers insist that something to be done. O'Donnell, exorcise the demon away, or Azor, do you know of any herb that could help her? Oh, don't bother me with such nonsense. What do we have here? The prophet in the halls. Is that the prophet? Repent today, learn the truest truth, step into the light. Since Sigrid joined my court, her persistent attempts to convert everyone to her foreigner cult have become the background noise to my everyday life. Day and night she stalks the courtyards, patrols the hallways, and hides in wait for unsuspecting bypassers in dark corners, ready to persuade them with her insistent screeching. My courtiers are exhausted, and after Sigrid ambushes me on my way to the chamber pot, I'm prone to agree with their discontent. I can tolerate this and more. Sigrid is harmless. Kick that fool out of my court, she can preach to the rats for all I care. Enough of this blasphemy! It will probably burn her or something like that. So let's see. There's even more events. Where's that? Overindulgence, and these people seem rather fat. My Amir Al-Muara, you guessed Rashid, he just won't stop eating comfort. My Faris Gaia stammers. Right at this moment I spot Rashid exiting the pantry, carrying a pile of comfit in both of his arms. Is something the matter, my liege? Rashid says, loudly chewing on a biscuit. You're the royal comfit to the dungeon. By Allah, man, pull yourself together, or you better pay for that. You're barred from the pantry from now on. So, different methods of doing away with that bad habit or ignoring it. Then we have inspired work. My liege Gaia approaches me tightly clutching a manuscript. I wrote a work of fiction after reading literature that's popular in your court. Please accept the honor of being the first person to read my words. I accept the manuscript and glance at some of the lines. The setting is familiar, as is the protagonist's name. Wait, could this be Gaia's attempt at writing a continuation or rewrite of another person's work? I clear my throat and look up from the manuscript, meeting Gaia's expectant eyes. My word, this is incredible. You must write more. Probably a lie. I worry about your mental health if this is something your mind created, or you definitely have potential, but you could improve in a few areas. Probably helping her. We have another event. Let's see. Ooh, a foul smell. My liege, a word, please. My chancellor, Mashamat Prola, approaches me during a brief lull while attending court matters. He gestures to a less populated spot in the room, and I follow him there. I'm concerned about the state of Kalyani Castle. While holding a meeting in one of the rooms, we all noticed a horrific smell. It must have come from the latrines, the floor below. I implore you to consider paying to fix the neglected parts of the building. I can ensure that the problem gets fixed as soon as possible. My steward can handle this matter, or just plug the hole in the floor. Quick and very dirty in that case. Then there are duels added. A new duel event type. Let's see. The animations don't work so well for this concept. They've revamped both of those with this new type, giving duels a facelift. So, single combat at Duke Robert for a few brief moments. King Bagrat and I pace in lazy half circles, each waiting for an opening. I raise my hammer, ready to defend myself while he clutches his sword firmly to hand. This fight may be the only one till first blood, but that doesn't ease my nerves. With a sudden twitch, our bout begins. Unexpectedly, Bagrat manages to swing a vicious kick for my shin, momentarily hobbling me. And you can see the contestants in their attire and their weapons. A blow from my hammer and a kick to gut. Attack first, attack hard on guard. Maggot, you think that you can stand against me. And also linked are the dynasties. So, there's that. Naturally, the weapon held by either character does correspond to their signature weapon type or whatever weapon artifact they have equipped if they've got one. So, also connected to the artifacts. Very nice. I'm pretty interested in more about the Royal Court DLC, and also, of course, the release date. The release date. Who is also interested in the release date? I guess a couple of you as well, right? So, thank you for watching. Happy gaming to you, and have a great time until next time. This is Immanuel Can signing out. See you soon, and happy gaming.